Excellent! All systems, full power! Look at me! I'm your brilliant creator, Dr. Robotnik. You're the second of my E100 model machines! E102, codename Gamma! Gamma. That's right! You will now obey only me.
So this is what it's like to be born as a robot. Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure. We are now starting things off with E102 Gamma's story. This is where it all begins, inside of Eggman's main base. We've seen this before, but this time in the perspective of E102 Gamma. But yeah, this is an interesting start to the story. So Gamma's story does start a little bit differently. It actually kicks off pretty much in the midst of most of the other characters' stories. So a lot has already happened in the same timeline that we've been in, of course, this entire time. But now we're gonna see it through the eyes of a machine. And here's our doctor.
The shooting range is through this door. Your big brother, E101 Beta, is there practicing. Enter, Gamma! You're not as advanced as Beta is, but you'll do fine.
It's kind of interesting how, I kind of like how Dr. Robotnik refers to the robots as like brothers and relatives. I think that's kind of interesting because you wouldn't really think that this guy of all people would be referring to even his robots, especially as people, since he's so inhumane. But anyways, we're starting things off in Final A. Yeah, so this is normally the stage we would end things off. We just ended it in Amy's story, and now we're starting it up in E-Gamma's story. So E-Gamma stages are a little bit interesting. They're probably the most, well, I shouldn't say the most unique stages, because really every character in this game has a very unique stage in their own way. But yeah, we are essentially shooting the hell out of crap in Gamma stages. This is mainly kind of like a test, little training first stage here, where we are essentially just destroying all of these Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails dolls as practice, I guess, for what Robotnik wants us to do, which is to ultimately destroy Sonic. But once we destroy the Sonic doll, we are already done. Yeah, Gamma stages are probably the shortest out of any character. For that reason, there's a lot more emphasis on his story, which we'll see here coming up very soon. Alright, so we're now back in the base. Of course, we have good old Mecha Sonic there, and we have Metal Sonic, of course, on the other side. Yeah, if we walk around a little bit, yeah, everything is essentially unchanged, other than the fact that, you know, yeah, we did come out of this machine. So that kind of explains a little bit about what this machine is. I do like how they kind of foreshadow things by kind of just leaving them in the overworld, and you kind of have to guess and figure out for yourself what it's used for. So that's actually the machine where Eggman, I guess, creates robots, or at least the E100 series robots, such as E102, who we're playing as right now. And yeah, I don't know if you want to refer to E102 as an actual person. I always call him he because he has like a deeper robotic voice. I guess most of them do. I always refer to him as a he. I don't know, maybe it's, you know, non-gender, I don't know. But that's what I'm going to go through in this playthrough, just because it's what I've been more familiar with. It's because what I've always done. Yeah, just to show, you can fiddle around with that light puzzle all you want. It'll open the door, but you can't go inside. You can't replay the stage you just did. So, of course, there's Mecha Sonic there, just staring at us very creepily. And let's see, can't go out that door. Oh, here he is. Doctor is in, ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, Gamma. I didn't think you had what it takes. Okay then, Gamma. Here's your test. If you want to stay on board, you must be able to pass it. So pay attention to what I say. The almighty egg carrier is a flying fortress that needs a good crew. Come forth, Beta! I'd like you to meet your older brother, E101. Just call him Beta. I am pitting the two of you against each other, and the winner serves on my ship. I put my bets on Beta, but I owe you at least a fair chance.
Wow, Robotnik is even more twisted than I thought. So yeah, I guess he does refer to his robots as a family unit, but they are mainly just useful for fighting it out and duking it out to the death. First boss fight with the E101 Beta, done.
Mission complete.
All you gotta do is shoot him a bunch of times, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The boss fights in this story are a lot more enjoyable and go by a lot faster.
Ho ho ho! You surprised me, Gamma! I had a funny feeling there was more to you than meets the eye. I hereby grant Gamma permission to serve on board the egg carrier. What? So you want to come along with us, eh? Okay. We could always use a spare set of parts, I guess. You have special permission. Aha! Testing 1, 2, 3. You, the elite egg carrier crew, are here today to hear a very special announcement. Behold! It's a tailed frog! Very unique. This frog is absolutely vital to my plans. I command you to locate this frog immediately! You hear me? I don't care what it takes to get it. Just bring it to me! We haven't got time to waste, so come to attention!
Back in good old Station Square, and at this current moment we can see Cream once again airborne. Second time in the main Station Square area here, since we saw that last time. I believe it was Amy. Yeah, I gotta say, once again, Dr. Robotnik is a very interesting type of dude. We'll fight till we drop. What? Did the government send you to agents out to suppress us? Well, don't bother. We won't give in to threats and violence. That's funny. Oh, are you a customer? We're on strike. We're protesting for better working conditions. It's probably going to be a very long battle. It's kind of funny how they comment the fact that you're a robot now, so he thinks that you're an agent sent from the US government. That's hilarious. Hello, you're looking for Mr. Frog? I'm afraid that I don't see anyone with that name staying at the hotel. Very rich. Things by the book. My company's on strike, so I can't go to work. What a bummer. Not. We're gonna head out to the poolside. Kind of, I'm wondering how these people are not freaking out seeing a robot. Froggy, I saw him hopping towards the beach. A big cat was looking for him, though. What? The frog again? You're the second person asking about a frog. Well, damn, we're just looking out for nature here, everybody. I don't know why everyone is so fed up with that. I don't understand it. If you go over the pool, you can actually notice that Gamma. You will actually notice that Gamma has a hover feature, so he will not be able to get into water at all. Kind of interesting. I love how they still keep the realism, knowing of the fact that he is, made of mechanical parts and is a robot and everything. Over here is actually the entrance to Emerald Coast. Yeah, we can actually do a little bit of a... yeah, once he gets out of the hover mode, he goes into this little car mode. It's kind of cool. It only happens every so often, and I can never remember how to exactly trigger it, but it's kind of cool how you can, ride around like that. But if you blow up these targets next to the entrance to Emerald Coast, you can now enter it. And yes, we are returning here after so long. We've not actually been here, I don't think, since Sonic's story. So this time around, we are looking to catch Froggy. So whatever, where else would he be going other than where there's a lot of water? Of course, by the beach. Gamma's stages, once again, are still very fun to play, I think. And they are a little bit different. I feel like if there's any criticism, it would probably be these stages for Gamma, because they just feel like the most off out of any of the other character stages, because you don't normally get to play as a character that just has like a gigantic laser gun and goes around and shoots a bunch of things. You know, it doesn't really happen a lot unless you're playing Shadow the Hedgehog, maybe. Like that game may have followed a little bit more of a similar formula to how Gamma's story is laid out, or how Gamma's story is structured. But I like this. I have to say, it's a nice spin. Like, this was the first time I think they did anything like this in a Sonic game, and I really think it really is executed pretty well. I think the stages can feel a little bit broken at times because they're so damn short, and you only need to do like one simple thing to activate like the end of it or whatever. But for me, I still enjoy them. They're maybe a little too short. Maybe they should have extended the missions out a little bit, but we found Froggy, and that's all that really matters though in the end, right?
Must determine location. Accessing data. No data found. Location unknown. This presents a problem.
So we return back to Angel Island 3,000 years in the past, but this time as Gamma. So it's interesting, and it does prove that even robots have the ability to have their minds transported in time. So kind of cool. We can actually go back through this door and look where we are once again. We are at the Echidna City, Great Echidna City, as I like to call it, the current jungle. And we still have all of these Echidna guys running around about the place. Let's see if they say anything different with the robot. I don't know if they do or not. Let me double check. I've never been scared of anything in my whole life. No, they're still just gloating away. It's almost like these guys are robots. Like Gamma actually has a lot more of a variety in his vocabulary than these guys do, which is actually kind of sad and impressive at the same time. Yeah, nothing really new to see here. Again, you can just kind of wander about the place, but this time as Gamma. Other than that, that's really all you can do in terms of just exploring around this area. Chow? Sacred power? No way, I don't buy it. We're going in to get those special stones. The chief's daughter always seems to be hanging around the altar. Perhaps she knows how to break through the sacred barrier, huh? He looks lonely. There's an altar in front of the gate. The 7 emeralds are there. With those 7 emeralds, all our dreams will come true. We've already heard this once or twice or maybe a million times, I don't know. At least they have something that they're believing in, you know. At least they have something worth fighting for, I guess. It's always nice to have a cause worth fighting for, I would say. Not a lot of people can say that. We go back through the door again. We end up back in Angel Island, past tense. Let's see what's going on this time around. Looks a little bit more of a... Looks like it's in a peaceful state still, so the chaos has not ensued quite yet.
No! Don't go any closer! I'm sorry. I see you must not be one of them, huh? Did you notice the presence guarding these children? He's a very loving and gentle creature. These little creatures are too vulnerable without its protection. This protection allows them to continue singing in peace. Even I was surprised the first time I saw him. Now my father is trying to take their sacred home. It seems his heart is closed off to us all. My true hope is that someday we'll understand each other.
This frog's the one we want. No, here's the real one.
My frog is the right one.
Ah, dummies, 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 dummies! None of you got the right one! We must find the frog with Chaos's tail! That same frog has also swallowed a Chaos Emerald! Huh? Ah! There it is! Right there! I'm proud of you, Gamma! I knew you'd be of use to me! All you worthless hunks of junk, be gone! You will get a new assignment. This one's easy. Go to the room through that last door. Once there, you'll find a girl and a bird. Just get me that bird! Now, go!
Is this the one? Beta? This is the wrong room.
It's always awkward when you go into the wrong room, but I think in this case it's a little extra weird. This is the door we actually want to go into, and then into here.
Give me the bird.
No way!
Resistance is futile. Give me the bird.
I said no!
Why not?
None of your business, why not? I I want to know why you want it.
Data unavailable.
You don't even know? I bet you'd be mean to him, you bully. Why not help us out instead? Don't you know how bad I feel?
Does not compute. Why try to save that which is useless to you? Does not compute.
I feel sorry for you. Eggman failed to give you feelings. Wait a minute, Birdie!
Get going.
Huh? Why are you letting us go?
It is dangerous here. Hurry, we'll be arriving at the Mystic Ruins base soon.
So, you're not like those other robots, huh? You truly are a good person inside, aren't you? I guess we can be friends then. Take care, okay?
So I am not the only person who refers to Gamma as a human being. Amy also referred to him as a person as well. So I guess robots and machines can be looked at in that way.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Gamma, get ready for battle instructions. Get the jet booster from the ammunition room and get up to the deck. The ammunition is unlocked.
So it is now time to take the next order from Dr. Robotnik. He is actually telling us to go ahead and grab our first upgraded item, which is the jet booster. So as you can see, this is the entrance to Hot Shelter. That's actually closed. We cannot enter that at the moment. Kind of funny, yeah, we get to see again these cleaning robots that I guess Robotnik has built for the sole purpose of cleaning up his ships, because again, he's too lazy to do it on his own. Kind of cool. I kind of wish they would have allowed you to interact with these robots as Gamma, since he is, you know, also a robot. I don't know. I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity to maybe. I know the NPCs and their dialogue is kind of like a small part of the game, but it's just funny since they added all the humorous dialogue from all the other characters you can't play as. It would have been funny to see what these these robots inside of the egg carrier would have had to say about everything going on. I don't know. Just the small things. But if we head into this room, it's filled with water here at the bottom. Of course, Gamma cannot swim underneath water. He would just hover above it, so we can't do anything in here, unfortunately. And this is actually the door that we want to go into, because if we go inside, you will see that we have the jet booster located right here on the bottom. Let's grab it.
Here's the jet booster. Press and hold the jump button and you'll float for a while.
So finally, we have the ability to float in mid-air and not just above water. Gamma does activate some sort of hover mechanic when he's above water, but this time, I'll kind of show it off once we get up here. This is actually kind of cool. You can take this elevator back up. I don't think I've ever done this before. But right here, he has now the jet booster, which is going to allow you to get around, you know, the overworld and his stages a lot easier if it wasn't already easy before.
I see you've got the jet booster. Report to the rear of the ship. Hurry!
so demanding of a doctor. I mean, this guy, for how many times he fails in his plans, he's a little too demanding and I guess overconfident in giving us orders here. But we're going to go ahead and do what he says. That's the, again, another entrance to the Chow Garden. We're going to take this lift all the way up, back outside.
How can I serve you, Dr. Robotnik?
Eradicate all of those menaces! Give them all you got!
Aye, aye, sir. I will comply.
I'm counting on you, Gamma!
Time to now face off with the Blue Hedgehog himself, Mr. Sonic. This time we are Gamma fighting Sonic, even easier than the first time we did this fight because we have a laser gun.
Stop, Mr. Robot!
Amy?
Hey, Mr. Robot. I know you're not an evil sword. Wait, remember me?
Amy! Oh, I really don't get this.
Sonic, look! The egg carrier's losing altitude!
We've got to split! Take Amy and go!
What will you do?
I'll nail that Eggman! He must be stopped at all costs!
Thanks again for saving me as usual, Sonic. And how are you, my metal friend? It's dangerous here. Why not leave Eggman and come with us?
Why do you help me?
I told you we'd be friends the next time we met. Even Birdie wants the best for you. You must ditch that awful Eggman.
Amy, come on!
We'll meet again, my robot friend.
Dr. Robotnik. Enemy. Master registration deleted. E-Series. Friends. Must save.
So this is one of the reasons why I think this game is very underrated and underappreciated when it comes to its story and characters. Yeah, these guys say the same thing. Who are you? They're always reacting a little bit different to Gamma, which I think is always funny. What does he have to say? Anything new? Wow, cool costume. Where'd you get it? The city? Yeah, these guys just cannot comprehend what the hell Gamma even is. They're too busy doing their exploration thing of the jungle. It's never crossed their minds that technology can become advanced at some point. So Gamma's story is a great example of why I think this game has awesome storytelling. This is a character that we are just now introduced to in this game. And we're already seeing, just from a couple of cutscenes playing, that this character has a lot of inner conflict within itself. It is a robot, a mere machine, but somehow we're still seeing this thing juggle with its own morality in a way. It's taking orders from Robotnik, its own creator and master essentially, but for some reason it's beginning to revolt and kind of diverge from Eggman's original orders. It freed Amy, which is not something that it was ordered to do, and it's now having a little bit of a mental conflict. Seeing people that apparently look like they want to help it, but also still knowing that it was created by one specific being, and it has to take orders from that specific being. So what does it do? Essentially has a meltdown, a mental meltdown, if you will. We actually want to come back into this room, and this is the room that we came into earlier, but it had a bunch of water underneath. Now it is gone.
Here's your laser blaster. Its blast damages enemies in a wide pattern.
And we have now obtained the final of Gamma's upgraded abilities, the Laser Blaster. This is essentially an upgrade for your laser guns. I feel like Gamma could have probably used probably more than 2 upgrades since he is, a robot. I could have thought of maybe at least 5 different upgrades we could have gave Gamma here, but nevertheless, we do get some pretty actually useful upgrades this time around. I feel like most of the upgrades, apart from maybe Sonic's light speed dash and Knuckles' ability to dig, which obviously is kind of required at a certain point in his story. A lot of the other abilities are kind of feel like they are a little pointless and kind of just for show, as like an added accessory that the character just kind of wear for the remainder of their time in the game. Gammas actually feel a lot more useful because you will be using the jet booster quite a bit, especially in the stages coming up here for the remainder of his story, and just kind of getting around. It makes it a lot easier to do that with the jet booster, and of course having an upgraded laser gun is always nice as well. So if we hit this switch, there's actually one of these located on both the outside and the inside of the egg carrier. We can activate the monorail. This was not something that was actually available for us to use earlier on in the game, but now it is. Just an easier and quicker way of getting around the egg carrier if you do not want to, spend time wandering around the ship finding the right door to get inside. Just an easy method of transportation in this giant ship. So kind of cool, just wanted to kind of show that off. We'll go ahead and take it back outside. I just wanted to kind of show what it does, because we are really done here for now. We need to actually head back, but we want to take the boat that is going to get us back to Mystic Ruins. So as you can see on either side of the ship here, we have 2 ways of getting out of the ship, even though it is crashed. So I do like that they give you the chance to travel back to the ship, even though it is essentially done for, because you can still explore a lot of stuff here. There still is a lot to explore on the egg carrier itself, but this is the one we need. This is the ride back to Mystic Ruins. As you can see, a long flight of stairs takes us back down to our budget-friendly little wooden boat that's somehow still surviving all these trips back and forth.
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
And I have to point out right now that Gamma is probably the slowest character when it comes to climbing ladders. I don't know why. We want to head back over here. So as you can see, we still have the wind key available to us. We haven't seen this in quite a while. Gamma is now going to use it. What's he going to use it for? Well, you've guessed it. But we're going to jump into the air current, which is going to send us back up into Windy Valley. That's right. We return back to Windy Valley, this time as E102 Gamma. So from now on, from this point forward in Gamma's story, we are now set out to destroy all of the other E100 series robots. So Gamma has essentially taken it upon himself to create his own mission. He's no longer following Eggman's orders. He is going to what he considers freeing or helping his friends by destroying all of his E100 brethren, because they are essentially out to help Eggman achieve world domination, and that's obviously going against what Sonic, Amy, and the rest of the main characters are trying to do. So E102 Gamma is essentially forming feelings, thoughts of his own. I don't know. I think this is a good question to ask, and I think this is another reason why this Gamma story is probably one of the more interesting stories of the game. I know I say that about a lot of the characters up until this point, but I really think they do a good job of individually giving each character their own inner conflict. Gamma's is probably the most interesting just because he is a machine, and it's just raises a lot of questions. now time to face off with the first of the E100 brethren, E103 Delta. This is a reskin of Gamma, of course, except he's colored blue. With our newly acquired laser blaster, these fights are going to be quite a joke, even more so than they would have been originally. Kind of nice, I have the advantage here. I was able to actually stay up here high up, so this guy can literally do nothing to me.
E103 Delta, rescue complete.
It looks like that part of the wall in the mountain has exposed itself once again. You gotta love the repeated cutscenes showing us things that we've already done. But it's a new character that we're doing it as, so we have to see it again just in case we forgot. You never know. The rocks crumbled and revealed an entrance to a cave. Someone's sending us a message. Come on in. Yeah, I would probably never invite you guys in anywhere if it was the last thing I ever had to do in my life. So, but we're gonna go ahead and enter this newly opened cave entrance that we've seen before. Gonna travel up here because we can now ascend to this part of the cave, allowing us to get back to Angel Island. Yeah, there's really nothing for us to do here other than just admire the beautiful sky as it's approaching dark times. We want to head over here by the monkey, and with the laser blaster we can take it out in a matter of seconds. Opening up yet again another familiar stage. We have entered Red Mountain again. So this time as Gamma, we spawn in directly underground. So we've seen this part of the stage before as Sonic, but this time we're doing it as Gamma. Of course, we just want to blast away as many enemies as we can. There's another robot at the end of the stage that we need to take care of. So let's do just that. But yeah, again, just kind of a repeated version of Red Mountain. Again, I've said this enough times already, but it would have been nice to see maybe some more stages or more expanded version of some of these stages instead of just repeating, you know, the same areas we've been to before. I guess this area of Red Mountain we haven't seen in quite some time, so I guess that makes sense why they would have given this to Gamma. The fact that he can just kind of go to town down here and destroy everything in his path, it does kind of make sense. We do get to see a little bit more lava. We haven't really seen a lot of that in the game yet. This is really the only location where we can see that. Just kind of expanding and adding a little bit of diversity to our environment here. If there's any reason to love Gamma's story, it's simply because you can blow everything up around you. It makes enemies look like it makes all of these enemies that have caused us pain in the past, if we're trying to speed through a level of Sonic or fly around his tails and they were in our way and they caused us maybe to lose some rings or to lose health, it's kind of nice to be able to just blast them away the moment we see them. Now time to take out E104 Epsilon, our orange colored fellow brethren. Just like before, we just want to take advantage of our laser blaster, blast him away a few times, and he will be done.
E104 Epsilon, rescue complete. E103 Delta, E104 Epsilon, rescue mission accomplished. E105 Zeta, E101 Beta, location unknown. Perhaps aboard the egg carrier.
I think it's interesting that, according to Gamma, his rescue mission for his fellow E100 brethren is to destroy them in order to save them. So I think that's kind of interesting. He knows that they are essentially only free if they're destroyed because they no longer have to take orders from the crazy scientists. So I think that's kind of fascinating and kind of sad and touching in a way, and again just adds more layers of depth to Gamma's story in this game overall. But we're going to do just like Gamma said, we're going to head back to the A carrier. So we want to go ahead and head over to the area of Mystic Ruins where we can board a boat. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a nice little cheap boat ride once again to our favorite place in the whole wide world, the A carrier.
E-Series data. Beginning search. Accessing data. Hot shelter. E-Series location confirmed. Unlocking hot shelter sector now.
So it is now time to look for hot shelter. Yeah, this is actually Gamma's final stage in the game. We get a nice little sky view of the surroundings around the A carrier. I don't know what it is about being on the A carrier with a lot of water around us. I think it's even more, it just feels like it's raising the stakes even more than when we were up in the air. Go back inside of the ship.
Your friends are in the hot shelter.
The beautiful big ball of red light has followed us into the A carrier, letting us know that we do need to take on hot shelter now. This door still does not open, but this is the only entrance to hot shelter. We've seen it before as Amy, so let's go back in as Gamma. So this is Gamma's final stage in the game. The main goal in this stage is to find E105 Zelta and destroy it. So it is one of the last E100 brethren that we need to search out and destroy. So we have our own search and destroy mission, you see. If you go into this room, we will find more toilets, and then yet again another bathroom inside of the ship. Kind of cool. I think we've seen something like this when we were here as Amy not too long ago, so just wanted to kind of show it again. You can find some more enemies sitting on the toilets in here, I think this time around. I don't think they were in there when we were here as Amy. But I think some of the monkeys, the robotic monkeys, are sitting on toilets in the bathroom. So believe it or not, yeah, the monkeys do have to whiz every now and again, even though they are serving and carrying out orders for the doctor. If we go into here, we will find this mechanical room like we've seen before. A lot easier to get around here with the jet booster, wouldn't you say? Yeah, even with Amy's hammer, we really kind of struggled to get through here within a reasonable amount of time. But this time around, it's going to be a little bit different because we can just jet across this entire freaking place. We have more of these giant gears surrounding us. We have more to blow up. Life doesn't get any better than this. But no, this is actually not too bad of a final stage for Gamma. Again, Hot Shelter just isn't my favorite stage. Even though Gamma's stages are fun to play as well, and having that mission objective is something that I think is a good idea and should have been expanded on more in the 3D Sonic series, at least during this time era. However, I will have to say that Gamma's stages do suffer sort of the same fate that Amy's do, where there really isn't a lot that's memorable from them other than just blowing the hell out of everything. By the time I get to the end of the stage, I'm left with really nothing important to remember this place by. Sonic stages at least had, at least one thing that kind of rested in your brain, like having a giant orca chase us over a bridge over Emerald Coast, running down a giant skyscraper at full speed, or maybe, I don't know, a giant avalanche getting ready to crush our bodies as we are, essentially skateboarding down an icy ramp of hell. You remember those things for several moments after you play the game, and they just kind of sit in your brain as one of the key parts of the game that are the most memorable. Unfortunately for Gamma stages, just like with Amy's, it just doesn't really have that. Like, again, the shooter-focused stages are fun, but there's nothing that ever, I don't really have any, desire to come back and replay Gamma-specific stages. Like, if I want to come back and replay any stages over and over again, it's more than likely going to be something out of Sonic stages, maybe even Tails, or most likely Knuckles, because the treasure hunting factor, they do something with every stage in Knuckles' story to make the treasure hunting mechanic very fun to explore, and it's just Gamma and Amy's stages just don't have anything like that where you just want to go back and replay those stages as those characters. I'd rather replay Like if I'm coming back to Emerald Coast, I'm going to come back to it as Sonic. I'm not going to come back to it as Gamma like ever, unless I'm just playing through the game casually through each character's story. It's just something that, I don't know, it's something I have a little bit of a problem with because I think it would have added more to the game and made it more fun just to kind of come back and replay it as any character, really. But I'm going to hold my breath for now because we do have one more character after Gamma that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of criticism, probably gets the most heat out of any of the character stages in this game, but we're not going to talk about it quite yet. So I've already lost all of my rings more than once. I don't want to continue to do it again. Leave me alone, you spike balls of hell. Bunch of collectibles we can probably get right there. A bunch of enemies I may have missed, may or not have missed. But it's okay. We're progressing. We're doing things. We're shooting. We're getting it done, right? We're staying focused on the mission at hand. We're not going to allow ourselves to get distracted any longer. So this is the E105. This is the next robot up on the list to be destroyed. This one's a little more creative and unique as we are on this spinning platform. Not too difficult, just adds a little bit of an extra challenge to the fight.
E105 Zeta. Rescue complete.
And of course we are sent back inside of the egg carrier. More cleaning robots to run past and completely ignore as we set out on our mission. We'll go ahead and go back outside of the ship. That's where we have to go now. We'll do it the fancy way and call upon our lovely monorail now that we have that activated. Just love activating that cutscene. It just looks so fancy. The door opens up for us and we can ride up out of here.
E105 Zeta rescue complete. Units remaining. Gamma. Beta.
And then there were two. Yes, it is just now down to Gamma himself and his arch enemy Beta. Probably the strongest of his counterparts. So this is the final of the fights with our E100 brethren. This is E101 Beta MKLL. This is the toughest of all of the robots. Again, our strongest counterpart that we have encountered thus far. This one is a little bit more challenging, and it is fitting because it is the final fight for Gamma's story. But what you want to focus on is where this robot is located. So he is going to do this charge attack where he will essentially be surrounded in this shield where you cannot attack him until he lands on the ground. He's then going to fire several missiles at you. You need to destroy them in order to have a chance at destroying him. If you take too long to take the missiles down because your laser gun will lock onto those first, he can actually get away pretty fast without any damage. So he's then going to go into this aerial attack where he will fly up into the air and throw a gigantic explosive at you. You obviously need to stay out of its way. Once he does this, you cannot attack him when he's in this phase. This time around, he's going to do multiple smaller explosives. You just want to avoid them like so and wait for him to get back down on the ground when he charges at you with that shield attack. So he's going to be pretty predictable in his patterns. So once you get a good grip on how his attack patterns are laid out, it makes the fight even that much easier. Can get a little tedious because if you do happen to miss him in one of the phases or one of the rounds, he will just kind of repeat this phase, and you kind of have to wait a little bit longer, and it can be a little bit I don't know, I'm one of those people that are impatient when it comes to fights like this, where I just want to get it done and out of the way as soon as possible. And if you miss them like I just did there, and you miss your window to attack, you got to wait for this next attack once again, and it goes on and on and on. So I like to drag things out even when I'm not intentionally trying to. So but that's gonna do it for the one and only beta.
Mission complete.
Hold on, you're not supposed to see that yet. The achievement spoiled the ending of the game. You're not supposed to see that character we unlocked. But that is it for E102 Gamma's story. So as you can see, I know I gave a lot of praise for Amy's character development, even Tails, his character development in this game. But I have to say, man, they did almost an even better job with this new character we've never seen in the universe before, and we will never see again, E102 Gamma. Wow, what a storyline for a character that was only seen in one game. I have to say, this was probably, apart from Knuckles, and I know I keep saying this, but apart from Knuckles' story, this is probably my other favorite story of the game, just because of how much character development and growth they give in this robot. He starts off being created and designed by the one ruler who is aiming to take over the world, who is Eggman. His only mission is to follow Robotnik's orders, and he ends up doing some internal processing himself and decides to become independent as a machine and carries out basically his own orders, which he believes are more morally correct, which is to help Amy and the others free these animals inside of the other E100 machines. So it goes to show, is this I mean, I think this story does raise a lot of questions as to whether or not it was the bird inside of E102 Gamma that was making all of these conscious decisions, or if it was the machine himself deciding what was right and what was wrong. At the end there, we see him self-destructing as more of a sacrificial move in order to free the white bird that was living inside of him. It's not yet known if Gamma can be reprogrammed, recreated, redesigned. We have never seen him in another Sonic game since this one. It's kind of sad to think about that, but in a way it does keep his story alive and continues its meaningful resolution, in my opinion. I think Gamma going out the way that he did made sense, and if he had stayed alive, maybe Robotnik would have reprogrammed him to turn on the others and maybe cause even more chaos than what was already taking place. We don't know. And also, he had to go because that bird would have been trapped inside of him forever if he didn't do what he did. So, I don't know. I think this was an awesome story. Again, huge amount of character growth for a character that, again, was just introduced and taken out in the same game. But that's going to do it for E102 Gamma. Again, not too long of a story. We have another character left to do. So join me next time when we take on Big the Cat Story and Sonic Adventure. This is J Guy Plays, powering off.